Okay, let's go ahead and, let me okay. So I'm introducing Miss Vice President Melanie Kim, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you everyone so much for joining the Service Around the World workshop. As Aliya said, my name is Melanie Kim and I'm currently serving as the Key Club International Vice President. So we just wanted to start off with introductions from the speakers. So a little bit about me, my home district is Georgia. I'm currently a senior or a grade 12 at Lambert High School. So my Key Club journey originally started in Builders Club, which is part of the K family. And so I joined Builders Club in 7th grade. And so I went on to naturally progress and joined Key Club my 9th grade or my freshman year. And so I moved to the district level soon after. So I served as the district committee chair along with an LTG or LG. And after that, I served as an international trustee along with the communications subcommittee secretary. Currently now I serve as the international vice president along with being the global relations committee chair. And so I just wanted to include a couple of my hobbies. So that includes baking. I've been loving like thrifting so far. I love painting. And I don't know if everyone knows this, but there's a very special brand of like stuffed animals called Squishmallows. Don't know if you know what that is, but I absolutely love collecting those. And I love crocheting. So now I'll pass it on to May.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Coba. I'm from Barranquilla, Colombia. I'm in grade 11, a junior. And like Melanie, I also started in Builders Club. And last year I was my school's club editor. And currently I'm my school's Key Club president. So one of my hobbies is baking, even though I'm not so good at it, but I try. Learning new languages, writing poetry, and kind of a movie buff.
Thank you so much, May. Now, and thank you, Melanie, as well. We will be moving on to our Slido. So this is an online platform where we can answer questions and you guys can also see the answers/questions of everyone else. So go ahead and whip out your phones and scan the QR code on the screen, or if you're on a computer and would like to join as well, you can use the code 610993 to join at slido.com. I'm going to—
How about those people who are on their phones? How we getting?
If you're joining on your phone, you can still participate by typing your answers in the chat because the questions will pop up on the slides that are coming. And so
okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And throughout this, you can either use the Slido Q&A function or you can just type it in the chat, whichever you want. We both have some people looking at the questions.
Okay, so we're going to head into our first question, which is how do you define service? So the answers are coming in on the screen, so definitely go ahead and share how you define service using the Slido or type it in the chat, as Melanie said. Helping others in need, always a great way. Helping out the community, assisting people. These are all great. I'm going to give you guys maybe a couple more minutes and then we can head on. Oh, this one's very good. Service is an act of contributing to something that will benefit cause.
I really like this one. Oh, it went away, but it essentially said that service doesn't have to be a big flashy thing. It can just be something that's small that just impacts someone. Oh yeah, so doing what you can to make a world a better place, no matter how small. I love that.
These are all amazing, guys, and you guys are doing such a great job. Very proud of you. So I'm going to go ahead and close the Slido. Thank you all for participating. Okay.
Okay, so we ended up talking about service and what service means to you and how you define it. High schoolers like you can work on acts of service in their communities. And so this can be in a lot of different ways. So there's examples such as cleaning up parks, collecting clothes, organizing food drives. And I know at my home district and my home club, we work and we help volunteer at the local schools, libraries to read books. So service can mean and see like a bunch of different ways. Key Club is an international organization with clubs all across the world. And
but that's not all. Like in the last slide, you could see like some clubs around the US and Canada, but those are not all the clubs. There are 40 other clubs in 40 other countries, including, for example, my home country, Colombia, Philippines, Western Canada, Nepal, etc. There are other countries that also have Key Club.
yeah, so type in the chat what district, or if you're from a non-districted area, type where you're from. Okay, we got in the chat, someone's from the Philippines. Love to see that, welcome. New York, CNH, love that. Bahamas, New Jersey, Capital, Lamas 10, Caribbean Atlantic. Okay, so we're from a ton of places. Amazing. Okay, seems like the biggest ones: Ohio, New York, Rocky Mountain, Lamas 10, Nebraska, Iowa. Okay, Ohio. We love to see that. Okay. Should we move on to the next slide, Aliya?
So like I said before, there are clubs in other countries. For example, in my home club, we do an activity, and it is an event that Key Club AIS, which is the one from my school, and has been doing for the last 2 years, in which we fundraise presents to give out on Christmas to vulnerable kids and do social immersion, where we are working to achieve the SDGs 1 and number 10. So these are our few pictures about those events that we have done for the past few years. And this year, next week, we're gonna do this event. So we're pretty excited about that.
Amazing, thank you, May. So the next one I'll be talking is from the Eastern Canada District, and it's called the Ottawa Bed Race. And so this is an event where teams register together and to collect funds to compete in a race in which they push an actual bed on wheels, which I think is pretty funny. You can see those in the pictures on the right. And it's a unique fundraiser that helps fund the club for the year for their service projects. And so I think this is such a unique service project. Is a great way to bond with your other club members or people around your local communities.
Okay, so another event from the Indiana district, the KCGT, which is a virtual talent show telethon with a mission to raise money for Riley Hospital for Children. It started in 2020, and the LTGs, they contact local businesses and Kiwanis clubs asking for sponsorship for the event and advertise during the event based on their donation. Then the day of the telethon, a 6-hour live stream is broadcasted. There are multiple speakers, games, and other fun things. This year, the event raised nearly 17,000, surpassing the goal of 15,000. That's amazing.
Okay, so the next one is from the Illinois Eastern Iowa District, and this is the Sorting Crayons for Scarce. So this is a project that's local to Division 9, and their LTG is Emily. And so they band together to peel and sort crayons for Scarce. And Scarce is an organization that has a local building where they accept donations of crayons and other materials to repurpose them to help other people. So their Division LTG, Emily, she contacted the leader of the organization and facility and suggested that she can utilize Key Clubbers and they can all band together to help sort the crayons. And it does seem like a very simple and easy task, but it does have a very impactful effect for the community. And they ended up having over 50 volunteers to come. So it was an amazing success.
So the next event was from the New Jersey district. It was a clothing drive. So in order to further the district's project, which is keeping the Garden State green, the New Jersey District Board held a district-wide clothing drive at fall rally. So the drive was perfect opportunity for them to help out the community. And then they actually went to Six Flags with a seal bag or box full of gently used clothing items. And the whole team collected them, and all the donations were then sent to those in need.
So the next is the Kansas District and their drive-by raking. And so this is an event that you can utilize in multiple different ways. So the key component was key clubbers doing random acts of kindness for elderly neighbors. So in their case, they went around and helped rake leaves to tidy up. And so you can see the picture of the different members at different houses and locations.
So the Pacific Northwest District, they did an event called Hope Festival, and it's basically the East Lake Key Club in the Pacific Northwest District, which is one of the largest, has received the Youth Opportunities Fund on the grant for the past few years, and they partnered with Hope Fest in Sammamish near Seattle to perform a huge day of service. So this past August, they were able to host the summer edition of the festival and serve over 650 individuals with the help of 400 youth volunteers. So here are some pictures of the event, and they all seem pretty cool.
So the last service event is from the Kentucky-Tennessee District, and this is their Christmas shopping event. So this is where members took names off an angel tree or gathered the needs from the local community members, and they all went to Walmart and bought the items that people requested. And so the items range anywhere from books, underwear to toys. And so the great thing about this event is that it can be done multiple times a year, so not just one. And it also is accommodating to the changing needs of the community. Okay, so now we will leave it up to questions or comments. So again, feel free to either put in the chat or the Slido. Okay, so I'll just answer one of them. So someone said, what did you do last year during COVID-19? So obviously COVID-19 affected the way that the organization did our service events. So a lot of it shifted from in-person to online. So personally, what my home club did was utilize different websites. So Free Rice, I think, is one of the most popular websites. We combine it with kind of a fun event, but also service. So we had music, we watched some like short videos from different club members. And it was a great bonding experience, while also in tandem doing the Free Rice. And I think a few of the things that the different districts suggested could be done social distance, so rake by leaves. And another thing that my club did that we did was socially distanced, so it was a bit more safer, was just collecting trash around the local roads around our school. So that can be done in accordance with the COVID-19 restrictions. May, what would you say?
Yeah, so last year, referring to one of the questions, like what activities could we do, especially in countries that are still in lockdown? So like last year, like in my country, we're in lockdown. So one of the activities that we decided to do was to make a fun interactive video of all of us and send it to community workers around our neighborhoods, etc. So for example, we did it for Thanksgiving and also in Christmas. So it was another way of doing service, not necessarily in person, more kind of like in a video, but it made people smile. So I think that's a good idea.
Yes, amazing. And I see a lot of questions in the chat and both on the Slido of how to access these slides. And so after, we will send out a PDF of our slides. If you do want to reference these service events, go ahead. But also you can access a bunch of different ways service events, both virtually and in person, on the Key Club International website. So we do have a lot of resources for both virtual and in person. So you can go and just search up service events, and that would be coming. And also, the Key Club International Executive Committee is working on creating a service directory. So that's just a compilation of every single service event per district, division, and whatnot. And so that should be coming out pretty soon. So also keep your eye out for that. Let's see. Okay, so I see one question is, how do you become involved in the Global Relations Committee? So there's a bunch of different ways. One of them is obviously being a liaison, which I think May can talk about a little bit, but I'll elaborate from the side of being part of the committee. And so global relations, like I said, is just reaching out to different people around the world. And even if you're in the States, that's perfectly fine. Even if you're an established district, we'd still love to work with you. And so the first formal way was becoming a member representative. And so the application has passed, but it is something that is done annually. And so Key Club sends out a kind of form stack or some type of application in which everyone can fill out, every member. And so you would then answer and submit the application. And then if you get chosen to be a member rep, you will serve on our committee. And another way to get involved is by being a liaison, which formally you are someone from a non-districted area, and you will help the Global Relations Committee aid you. And if you need any resources or if you have any issues, we can talk. But it's just to aid in their club development. May, do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, basically, so like Melanie said, well, the opportunity already passed to apply for the Global Relations Committee, but I think that maybe being like interactive on the social media or like looking out and seeing like what other clubs are doing, or being state and being like aware of what they're doing, I think that's a pretty good idea. Or also like contacting other clubs, maybe from another country, in order to maybe have a Zoom meeting and talk about it like Melanie and I did. So I think the best way, if not applying, would be like contacting other clubs through social media, and maybe asking, I think, the Global Relations Committee for the like contact information, and be like aware of that, or being in contact with other clubs around the globe.
Yes, amazing. So if you happen to be from a non-districted area, or if you're just interested in learning about what the Global Relations Committee does more, I'll put my email along in the chat. And Aliya, she's also a member of the Global Relations Committee and was a member rep last year. So Aliya, not to put you on the spot, but if you do want to put your email in the chat, feel free to email us. So I did get a question from the Zoom chat. So someone said, how can an LTG start a service project in their division? So I think as an LTG, something that I did often was reach out to just committee members. So something that I did was, if you are an LTG for your home district, maybe reach out to your advisor, and their advisor can say, okay, this person reached out, or this person is super interesting. But I think a lot of it comes from initiative. So look around, see what your community is interested in. If you know of a library that has an open session for you to read books to different children, I think that's a great way to get started. And social media is a great way. I know my kind of county has one that just kind of shows different like opportunities for volunteers. So maybe reaching out through there. And if you need help, obviously you can ask your governor or your previous LTG. I think it's a super great idea.
I think there's like a question for me. How has your experience with Key Club / like When Is Family been so far? So it has been amazing. Actually, like this, well, it's my first year being like president, so it's been really fun, and also getting to meet amazing people like Melanie, Aliya, etc. from the international board. It has been so fun, amazing. I never thought that like to this day, this is surreal to me, like being here speaking to you all, like it's, I don't know, out of this world. So I still can't wrap my mind around it. So it has been amazing, and I encourage you all to also like contact other clubs and be more interactive if you want to on the global spectrum.
Amazing, yes. And so I think someone asked, are you still able to travel around the globe. So in context, do you mean like Key Club travel? I will address the Key Club travel. So last year it was no in-person traveling for the trustees, but this year they are able to travel to their districts. And so that's something that is super exciting. Okay. Oh, someone said, is there any other resources similar to free rice? Yes, there are a ton. I can't name some off the top of my head, but I do know that on the Key Club website, they do have a bunch of websites that you can utilize for virtual events. And I also know that the different districts have amazing in-person and virtual resources, so you can also reference those. That's all on the Key Club website. May, do you want to answer a question?
I think, wait, are there any websites tips you recommend for finding in-person service events? So, well, I think that would depend on the area you live in, but in general, I would look like I did. I searched and Google like service ideas, and there are tons of websites that give out ideas for in-person and also virtual events now because of the pandemic. So I would recommend like looking for ideas on websites, or also looking at other clubs Instagrams. They have like, they post their activities, not necessarily doing the same, but taking inspiration from those activities, and also participating in Key Club International's activities like Trick or Treat for UNICEF and other activities. So yes, that's what I would recommend.
Amazing, May. Okay, so the next question is how to start a fundraiser. And so you can do a fundraiser either in person or virtually. I know a really big platform that a lot of people use virtually is GoFundMe. And so it's super easy. I don't think you have to create an account, but you can just create your kind of subject line and how much you're planning to raise, like your goal. And so then you can promote it either at your school or online through social media. But if you're planning to do a in-person fundraiser, a super fun way is during a club meeting, you can ask everyone. I know there's this one challenge that's like, how much can you raise in a minute? I know that's a super cool event that you can do. You can just bring around some type of thing to collect money. And so maybe playing music and having fun, that's also a great way to do a in-person fundraiser. Okay. May, do you want to answer?
Wait, I think there's a question in the chat that will the slides of today's workshops be forwarded to attendees? I think this one we said that we will send out like a PDF version, but I'm not sure about the others. I think maybe. And another, I don't know if there's another question or if we have time.
Yeah, you can answer.
Okay, what service project will you suggest to implement? Like I said, it depends like on your area or what you want to focus on, but service project, I think maybe you could find like not necessarily a minority, but a group of people you want to like focus on, maybe helping elderly, or maybe helping kids with cancer, or helping kids in a vulnerable neighborhood, etc. So maybe that would kind of help like narrowing down the types of activities or fundraisers you would want to do, or service project you would want to do, like finding a group of people, or not necessarily a group of people, like yeah, narrowing it down so you could know or have more ideas of what to do, so it's not so broad. So yeah.
Yes. And so I just want to reference the slides for every single presentation will be converted to a PDF, and everyone will gain access to those as long as, excuse me, in addition to having the recording. So you can all rewatch and everything. And so we do want to wrap up and transition, but I do want to leave time for one more question. And so Aliya has been so good with monitoring the chat and everything. So Aliya, do you want to answer a question?
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm looking through some of the questions, and oh, one of them that I got was, how can an LTG start a service project in their division? Well, starting service projects and divisions can be some of a tedious task, but definitely starting off with a great idea, maybe going off of your district project or any examples that your district board have given you. So I know in Texas, Oklahoma, their district project, one of their district projects, I believe, or their governor's project is a brighter future. And so they were just creating, they had a list of projects that LTGs can do or clubs that can do. So definitely that's a great start to go off of, or something to have a basis for a project. Next up, definitely going ahead and alerting everyone beforehand, making sure that all the attendees know where the event is happening, ensuring, you know, all the logistical things are hashed out. So if you are going to plan like maybe a park cleanup in your area around the schools that you serve, definitely going ahead and contacting like the park rangers if or anyone that is administrative of the park. And then next up, you know, ensuring that all the members have a area to park or a designated area where you're going to meet. And then, you know, afterwards, if you guys are going to meet up and just congregate together, just getting the logistical things hashed out. Also, promotion is super important. In terms of promotion, you know, there's Instagram, if you have GroupMe, Remind, anything like that, a Google Classroom, just making sure that everyone knows about the event and they're able to attend, and definitely contacting your club presidents and having them like present it at their meetings and things like that. So yeah, if you have any questions about starting service projects in your division and anything of that sort, go ahead and reach out to your trustee or Melanie or myself or even May. We're all here to help, and we love, you know, giving out service project ideas. So definitely go ahead and do that.
Yes, thank you, Aliya. Okay, so that was the end of our Q&A session. So Aliya, you can stop screen sharing. And so before we end our session, we do want to take a quick screenshot for social media. So whoever's comfortable can turn on their cameras. And Laura, I believe you'll take the screenshot. So if you give us a countdown.
I sure can. Give everybody a couple more seconds here as they're turning the cameras on. Getting your smile ready. All right, let's do the photo here in 3, 2, 1. Great, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So this is the last event or part of the GER, or the Global Engagement Rally. So thank you so much to everyone who joined. This was such an amazing opportunity for everyone to join, to see the faces of different people. I hope you all enjoyed the workshops. I know everyone on the international board, along with Matt, Laura, different staff members, worked really hard, and Mr. Palazzolo for joining, worked really hard with this rally. And so before you guys adjourn, I do know that we have a feedback survey that we are going to send out in the chat. I believe Aliya is going to send that out.
Yes, I am copying the link as we speak. And please go ahead and fill out this form. Just let us know how Global Engagement Rally was, if you had any questions or any comments specifically. But yeah, here is the Google form. Thank you all for joining again. And like Melanie said, have a great afternoon.
Yeah.